welcome back to another reading. Today I'm back with another members Q&A for you guys. If you guys don't know already, I do have this members thing where you guys can join and become a member here on YouTube, and my members get to ask and participate in monthly Q&As every single month. So if you guys are interested also in asking questions regarding your favorites or anything else, I will have the link of the membership down below. But other than that, let's get started with the questions. So the first question we have over here is about Luis and Olivia Rodrigo. Why did they break up? Okay, so let's take a look. Why did Luis and Olivia break up? Let's see. Why did Olivia... Oh, okay, that was quick. Okay, I'm just gonna take a few more cards over here. Why did Olivia and Luis break up? What happened between Olivia and Luis? What happened between Olivia and Luis? Kisses. Okay. Alright, you guys. So when it comes to Olivia and Luis, it's so interesting, the cards that I got for them. So first of all, I do want to mention that when it comes to their relationship, it definitely did have a lot of love. It definitely had genuine intentions. I feel like definitely the love was mutual, and I feel like one of them specifically just had like a lot of unconditional love, and they felt like this relationship was probably it. Like they really saw this relationship as something serious. They really wanted to build something real out of this relationship, and they saw this relationship as probably something that is stable and something that can go to the point of commitment, and it had like long-term potential. So I feel like definitely one of them was like really willing for that, and they had like their high hopes for that, and that's what they expected and that's what they wanted. And so for the longest time they were so happy, and you know, things were looking good when it comes to their bond. But I feel like at some point one of them didn't really reciprocate. Like one of them was so, oh my god, I feel like you're my person, I feel like we might get married, we might get committed, you know, I just see a future with you. And then the other person, like, they would smile about it, they would be okay with it, but I feel like deep inside, that person was still learning in a way. Like one of them was like in the serious grounded mode, and one of them was overthinking, and you know, they didn't feel fully ready for that step. And I'm not saying that they wanted to do it anytime soon, but one of them is just like thinking that I see us doing that in a couple of years. And so at times one of them like felt like maybe the thing that they were feeling wasn't really reciprocated, like almost like it can be one-sided. Like one of them, you know, why am I putting so much and seeing good expectations for our relationship, and you don't seem as invested as I am? So almost like felt that way, okay? And it's almost like it's not like something specific happened that was like so wrong, but it's like they both were on different pages. One of them was more mature than the other, and they were waiting and investing in this bond, while the other was holding on, but they were guarded. Like maybe they weren't fully ready for that step, or maybe they didn't even see themselves doing that, okay? And so one of them felt like, I'm putting effort in, like I see this bond growing, like why isn't it looking like it might go that way, or like the other person isn't feeling the same way that I do, okay? And so one of them also like felt, in a sense, trapped by maybe expectations or trapped by fear or overthinking. So I feel like the other person wasn't so ready, or maybe did have like a mature mindset of, you know, how they wanted things to move forward. Okay. And so I feel like definitely their relationship did have a lot of happy moments. It felt like almost like a wish being fulfilled for one of them. Like one of them, I'm hearing like, oh my god, this is all I wished for. And I feel like they tried so hard to make it work. Like one of them really tried so hard to make it work, but it feels here that someone walked away because they felt like, you know, something was missing. And I feel like they tried to make it work, but just something felt missing because the other person wasn't really on the same expectations and on the same page of how this relationship was gonna work out. Okay. So it's like, I care about you, but this isn't flowing the way that I want it to be or as it should. And so I feel like honestly that there's still, I don't know how, when exactly this breakup happened, but I'm seeing that it's not fully like, oh, I'm gonna forget about him, that's it, I'm gonna date someone else, or, you know, I will never speak to this person again. Like, it feels like they are still watching each other, focusing on each other. They're sort of like trying to focus on themselves right now, but it still feels like I'm watching you, I'm seeing what you're doing right now, all of that. So it feels like that there is potential for things to reconnect if they decide to be on the same page. Like, I don't feel like this is like a breakup that, oh, we're fully over and we're never seeing each other again and we're on bad terms and all that. Like, I feel like one of them just said, I just don't feel like I can continue in a relationship where there is no future, and they decide to walk away. But it doesn't feel like something that, you know, was really bad that happened. At least for now, that's like what I'm seeing when it comes to the two of them and their current energy. Okay. So I hope that made sense. All right, next question is, how do Tom Blith and Emily Batter feel about each other outside of work? I'm so sorry for pronouncing their last names wrong, but let's see what's going on when it comes to Tom and Emily's bond. How do they feel about each other outside of work? How do Tom and Emily feel about each other outside of work? Okay, so when it comes to their bond, I do feel like definitely the two of them had mutual respect, and I feel like they definitely do have like a sense of valuing each other as people. Like, there's a big sense of, I respect this person. They definitely value each other's intelligence and presence, and there is definitely a big sense of admiration here. And it doesn't necessarily mean like a romantic admiration, but like they are appreciative of each other's work, the way that they interact together. And I feel like there is like the sense of they like how the other carries themselves. Okay. And I feel like when it comes to their bond, they were definitely able to work well together. They did have a good sense of understanding, and there's definitely mutual respect and comfort between the two of them, and they definitely found ease in each other, that they were able to work together smoothly. And I feel like even outside of work, they did have great communication. They, you know, like when they felt certain things, they did talk about them. So I feel like there's definitely positive energy when it comes to the two of them outside of work. Like, their bond is looking comfortable and respectful. But I also don't feel like they're completely very close. Like, it feels like this sense that I feel like I know this person on a surface level, but I feel like they would have these moments where they were like, oh, I didn't know that about you. So I feel like they are not so close to the point that they know a lot of details about themselves, or even outside of work, that they were able to become really good friends. Like, I feel like they definitely do have a friendly and professional bond, but it doesn't feel like they are so close with each other outside of work. Okay. And also something that I'm feeling is that they both do have a certain different ways of showing themselves. Like, I feel like one of them would have like a stronger sense of attentiveness. Like, one of them would be more observant, noticing the small things and making sure the other is comfortable, and like being there when is needed. But I feel like one of them would have like lighter energy, and they would be comfortable and, you know, more professional maybe, and just like working together smoothly. But they didn't really put much attention to certain details as much as the other person. So maybe at a certain point the other person was like, oh, how do they not like remember that? Is it like because they don't care, or they just view this as like something lightly? Like, because I feel like one of them would be like attentive to detail, while the other one, you know, would just be lighthearted, and, you know, they just show up differently. And so I feel like sometimes the other would be feel like that they are putting more effort in a certain way, while the other, you know, that's just how the other person is. Okay. But I feel like overall, you know, they bonded great, but they don't really feel super close, to be honest. Okay, now let's get into the next question. All right, so right now we are gonna get into Afra and Mert. And before I want to get into them, I want to mention that I do have a full reading on Afra and Mert that is coming out right after this reading. So in my full set of readings, Afra and Mert will be out with this set as well as the members Q&A. And one of my members did talk about a certain rumor, and then I have another question from another member about a certain rumor. And it's so interesting because those rumors are totally opposites of each other, so it's a bit interesting. Like, one of them is saying that they've written that Meret Ramazan is still with someone else and is serious about his relationship. And then the other question I have is that there's rumors that Afra and Meret are in a relationship and have finally reached a more stable stage. Is it true? And are they finally moving forward as a couple now? So I have no clue what's going on in social media when it comes to Afra and Meret. I honestly only know them through my readings and through people requesting me to read on them. And I honestly get to know them through the readings that I have done. You know, I only started reading for them for, I believe, a couple of months. And so I only know things when you guys mentioned to me and all of that. So I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but apparently there's like two rumors that are going on and they're fully opposites of each other. But you guys, I am gonna check what my cards say at the end of the day. Okay, I'm gonna check if the rumors are true for both of them. But yeah, let's get started with the first one. So they've written that Ramazan is still with someone else and is serious about his relationship. Will we ever have the chance to know or hear that Afra and Ramazan are together and happy? Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna check overall, like, is Merit with someone else right now other than Afra? And at the same time, seeing if you guys will ever get the chance to see if Afra and Mert are gonna be together and are happy. Okay, interesting. I didn't even ask yet, but it's so interesting. I got the 10 of Cups flying. Okay, so is Mert currently with someone else? Is the rumors true? And oh my god, the cards are flying. Is Merit currently with someone else? And will Afra and Merit's fans ever get to see Afra and Merit happy and together? The cards are going crazy. right, you guys, so when it comes to Merit, I definitely do see that there is a certain woman that is interested in him here. I'm getting like a Queen of Wands, and I feel like normally for Afra, I do get her as the Queen of Swords, I believe, or the Empress. And here I'm getting a certain Queen of Wands. And so I do feel like when it comes to Merit, there is a certain woman that is interested in him, and she is trying to get his attention in a certain way. But the thing is with Merit is I feel like definitely in the past, he definitely did have certain bonds that he was sort of trying to distract himself with. Like, I do remember picking up that and you guys mentioning that there was maybe a certain woman, and you guys were speculating if he was dating that woman or not. And I did see with that certain woman, I don't know, I have no clue who the specific person that he has rumors with right now, since I didn't get their name, so I cannot really see the energy fully. But with whoever the old woman was, he never saw that as something like stable. Like, he never saw that relationship with the woman or the bond with that woman as something stable. It was like almost like the sense of distracting himself, and because he was upset of the situation between him and Afra, that, you know, he would do things to distract himself or maybe to make Afra jealous and all of that. Okay, and so I feel like right now there is definitely this sense that he is looking back at the past, and there's like a sense of avoidance when it comes to these sort of bonds or relationship that are unstable. Okay, sometimes, yes, when things between him and Afra are not good, he definitely can go back to that path and see options. He definitely does have options. There are a couple women that I feel like he does have from the past, and there is a certain woman that is coming here and is interested in building something with him, and she might be doing things because she is interested in Merit. But do I see him being in a relationship with someone else? I honestly do feel like that he's a bit avoidant when it comes to that right now, because the thing is, when it comes to with him and Afra, I immediately got the 10 of Cups, and I'm getting the 2 of Cups as well, and the Ace of Wands and the Hierophant. So I'm seeing that when it comes to him and Afra, before I get into Afra and Merit, I want to mention that the bonds that Merit did have, they were never really serious, committed relationship energies. Like, if anything, those bonds were like messy, unclear, and, you know, short-lived. And I feel like if he ever gets into those again, it's definitely not impossible. But as long as he's in sort of a talking phase with Afra and trying to work things out with Afra, I do see that he is gonna try his best to fix things with Afra. But if things do not go his way, he might make mistakes again and go through that path again. Now, going back to Afra and Merit. So I do see when it comes to Afra and Merit, definitely there are things that are changing between them in a positive way. But it's not fully that, okay, they are fully committed and happy right now. It feels like they are working on it, and I'm gonna look more in depth into that in the current energy that I'm checking. But definitely they are moving forward slowly, and definitely they want to go over things maturely right now. All right, and so definitely there is progress between Afra and Merit, but it's slow, and there are definitely emotional ups and downs, you know, from certain things that happened between them and the past and all of that. Okay, I do see that definitely things right now between Afra and Merit are in the phase of slow progress. It's moving, even though it's slow, and I feel like there is like a sense of Merit like really hoping that this turns out well. I feel like there's like a sense of patience and seeing how it goes. So as long as him and Afra are moving towards a stage of, you know, talking things through, and there isn't any certain negative feelings or anything going on, I do not see that he is currently looking to go into the phase of distracting himself or being in a serious relationship with anyone else. Okay, because right now I feel like that he is talking things through with Afra right now. Okay, and so to answer your question, I definitely do see that there is a possibility that one day that you guys might hear that Afra and Mert are happy and stable. But I honestly feel like they also have fears from public's opinion, and you know, sharing the word, even if they decide to get into a full relationship again, it feels like that they are going to be pretty careful with that. I feel like especially one of them, maybe Afra, there's a sense of her really being careful of the public's opinions and all of that, because she herself does have fears of moving forward with Mert again. And so, you know, she wants to be fully confident, and when it comes to their bond, she wants to be fully confident, and she doesn't want the public to know. Like, she would rather them both deal with this thing privately in case anything happens. Like, she doesn't want any sort of gossip, she doesn't want any sort of news about it, okay? But I feel like you guys either might hear about it through news, or you guys might see them again if there is a certain project that they will work together again. I feel like if they fully fix things again, they would like the opportunity to work together again, and maybe through that you guys will see. But let's go to the next question now. So the next question is about the other rumor. So there's rumors that Afra and Mert's relationship has finally reached a more stable stage. Is it true that they are finally moving forward as a couple now? Okay, so I looked into that a little bit in the last question, but let me see in depth more regarding that, okay? Let's see. Are things getting better with Afra and Mert? Are they reaching a stable stage when it comes to their bond? Are they moving towards a couple right now? Okay, so I saw their energy in the last question too. Like I said, I feel like things are definitely moving forward. They are definitely climbing towards something. So yes, I definitely do see that they are moving towards a more stable stage. But are they fully on good terms right now that, okay, we are ready to be a couple again? Honestly, I do not see that, because it feels right now, it's almost like even though they have known each other, it feels like I want to start from zero. I want us to build things again. I want us to discuss things again. And I want us to almost communicate right now in like a friendly way and get to know each other all over again, almost like we just met. I want us to start fresh, and I want us to build things again to make sure that if we decide to become a couple again, that things are looking good for us. And I do not want things to break, okay? So right now, they are way more careful than before, because they are tired of the same cycle of, you know, things breaking between them again and then all of that happening. So right now, yes, they are definitely communicating, they're collaborating, they're talking things out, you know, they're discussing, there is communication, and definitely there is love there. There is definitely love there, and you know, they are manifesting for the best. So they are definitely moving to a more positive place. But are they ready to become a couple right now? You know, there's definitely love there, and they're definitely open to that. But right now, they're still in like this slow and steady process. And I feel like that there is something evolving between them, but it's like still in the process. Like, they're definitely taking things slow, and because one of them is totally more careful, regarding that, they're definitely taking things with the flow, okay? So they're not fully dependent on each other. Their lives do not depend on each other. Like, I feel like they told each other that I'm gonna go with my life, you go with your life, and we can discuss things together when we want to, okay? So I hope that made sense, but definitely things are looking positive, and I am gonna do the reading right after this Q&A, so I'm interested to dive in deeper when it comes to that, okay? All right, next question is Rosé and Bruno Mars's current energy. They had several Grammy nominations, but went home empty-handed. Also, what's the dynamic between them like? Are they really friends or just colleagues? Okay, so let's take a look into Rosé and Bruno Mars. What is the current energy of Bruno Mars and Rosé? It's so interesting that I'm getting the Three of Cups as the first one, okay? Let's see, what's the current energy of Rosé and Bruno Mars, and what's the dynamic between them? Are they friends or are they colleagues? Okay. I'm also gonna take a few from here. Anything else about Rosé and Bruno? Okay, I felt this. Okay. All right. So you guys, when it comes to Rosé and Bruno Mars, it's so interesting because in my head, I literally heard that there is things that are not being told with the High Priestess and with the Ace of Swords, and then I got truth to be told. Okay, so you guys, when it comes to Bruno and Rosé, I do feel like when it comes to the Grammy nominations, I feel like definitely, to be honest, they did feel some sort of disappointed, and there's like a sense of, okay, this stung a little because I feel like one of them really had high hopes. They really were hoping to get at least one Grammy that night. And I feel like one of them, there's like a sense of like, they felt that they would make a lot of people proud if they got that Grammy. Like it felt like, wow, I will accomplish a lot if I got this. So I feel like for one of them, it really meant a lot. Like it would mean a lot for them as a person and a lot for the people around them that, you know, it's almost like this would be a big thing if I got this Grammy. And, you know, I feel like they really wish that they got it. But there's also this energy that it's not like they were totally upset about it or they were jealous for the people that got instead of them. No, like it felt like it is what it is, and I feel like that they both, you know, accepted at the end of the day and they were happy for the winners. But definitely there is like this sense of it stunk a little, and you know, but definitely I feel like there's like also this sense that, you know, they possibly told each other like maybe right now is not the time, we will get something in the future. But yeah, I feel like they definitely talked about it together as well. Now, when it comes to their dynamic, definitely I do feel like they have a good bond. Like when they are with each other, you know, I feel like their bond is so friendly. They're able to bond together. They're able to vibe together. But there is a lot of unsaid things. Okay. Even before I got the oracle, I just felt it. Like there was something that's like so unspoken. There is like this sense of, you know, something that there is something subtle between the two of them. Like either like there is certain things that, you know, they feel upset about their bond or they hold in their heart, or you know, something that they would get hurt about, but they aren't fully like expressing that out loud or making it fully obvious that they are bothered by something. So like there's one of them that just like intuitively feels something from the other. Like they feel like the other is having something that they want to say, but they're not saying it, and they're like, what is going on? Like, are you gonna say it or not? And then the other person would be like, oh, this is bothering me, like I don't like this, but you know, for the sake of their bond, you know, not to get ruined or anything, I feel like they're both are just like not speaking up regarding anything that's bothering them or anything that is, you know, that they're feeling that the other is going through, but they're not really saying it. So yeah, like there is definitely a sense of control over here, at the same time confusion and mixed signals. And definitely one of them is like having like this sense of self-restraint at the same time, okay? But there's also like with the King of Swords, there is definitely like a sense of, you know, composure, and with the Ace of Swords as well, there's definitely a sense of professionalism, and they are very aware of, you know, their public image and their reputation. So there's definitely control and discipline when it comes to their bond. And I'm not saying that their bond is messy or anything like that. It's just that, you know, I feel like they bond together when they are creating together. It's amazing. And it feels like one of them would go the distance for the other. Like when Rosé would need help, or when Bruno would need help from Rosé about a certain question or certain something, like they both would go the distance for each other. Like they would be there to help the other. Like I feel like sometimes they would randomly send each other questions or stuff like that, like, oh, what do you think about this, and can you help me know more about this topic? And they would, you know, be fully there for the other when it comes to that. So they do have like that sense of like great friendship, but at the same time, it's not like a super intimate best friend closeness, okay? Like they would say that they have a friendship probably, and they would consider a friendship bond, but it's not exactly that we are besties type of thing, okay? Like I said, there is like a certain type of tension because of certain things that are untold. But yeah, there are certain things that they both are sort of keeping in, like when it comes to things that they are bothered about. But you know, with the Three of Cups, they definitely do have a friendly bond. And you know, when they need help or anything like that, they would be definitely there for each other. So I would say that they are technically friends. They have great respect for each other. But they're not really deeply close on a personal level, okay? So I hope that made sense. All right, next question is Jennie and Mingu from 17's friendship. Are they close? Some fans think they had / have a romantic relationship. Okay, so let's take a look at Jennie and Mingu's friendship and bond. Are they close? Are Jennie and Mingu close? How is the bond between Jennie and Mingu? Interesting. Huh. Guys, the amount of mixed signals I'm getting from the cards right now. Wait, and I feel like that's just exactly how their bond is. Wait, anything about Jennie and Mingu? Okay. How is the bond between Jennie? Oh my god. Okay, that's way too much cards. Guys, I'm telling you, the energy is so mixed signals. Like it's giving mixed signals so bad right now. Anything else about Jennie and Mingu? Just one more, please. Anything about Jennie and Mingu? Okay. All right, guys. So when it comes to Jennie and Mingu's bond, honestly, it feels complicated. Okay, like this connection has so many layers. Okay, it's like a sense of, it's like interesting, but it's also like complex. So I feel like when it comes to their bond, there definitely has been a lot of growth and a lot of learning over time when it comes to the bond that the bond that they share, okay? And I feel like the bond and their connection has definitely been shaped step by step, piece by piece, almost like it wasn't always the way that it is at right now. Like it feels like right now they have reached a certain point where things are clear, where things are not confusing. But back then, I feel like it was all over the place, okay? So definitely there is like a big sense of awareness right now, okay? And there was definitely a lot of certain different energy between them. Like there was a sense of curiosity and closeness, but there was also a big sense of figuring things out, but at the same time not being able to understand each other, which caused certain disagreements at certain points. Okay. But right now, there is definitely a sense of understanding that they have built and a sense of awareness right now that they have worked hard to reach to at right now. Okay. And so there were times where, they felt that they naturally connected, and there were times where they felt a bit uncertain about the bond that they share. Okay, but I feel like right now they have definitely shifted to a more careful phase and a certain spot. Okay, and it feels like almost like they definitely have taken like a step back from a certain way that they were. Okay, all right, so to make this clear, I do definitely feel like there was definitely mutual attraction between the two of them at one point. I'm not saying that they started off like that, but I feel like at a certain point when it comes to their bond, they definitely were exploring things in a sense that, there was a sense of attraction, and they were like, okay, let's see how things go from here on out. But it feels like that they definitely, instead of, this being a good thing, it felt like that they both were hurting and getting damage from it more than, it being something that, made them both happy. So I feel like that they definitely decided to just leave that, and they found out that they were better off as being friends and, having a good bond. And definitely it took them a sense of step by step of moving away from that. Okay, because and it doesn't feel like it was like, oh, we broke up. No, I feel like at a certain time it looks like they were exploring certain things, but it's like, I think that this is just like hurting us. It's sort of damaging the bond that we shared before this. It's like almost like, okay, we are friends. What would it be if we were something more? And then exploring that and then being like, okay, we are better off as friends. So let's stop this. So it feels like that. Okay. So right now, to answer the question, I definitely feel like that they have a great bond right now. Maybe they hang out, there's communication. I'm definitely seeing a great friendship between the two of them right now. There was definitely a big sense of attraction at a certain point, and it feels like that they decided to explore things. But it feels like right now that, to get to the place that they are, they definitely had to grow to that point. Okay. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking for the two of them. I hope that made sense. But right now, I do feel like they are on good terms, and there possibly might be communication or them hanging out, and then so I feel like that they do have a close friendship bond right now. Okay. Next question is Chinese actress and actor Zhou Ye and Chen Xingxu energy and connection. I'm so sorry if I'm putting their names wrong. Alright, let's see. How is the Chinese actress and actors Zhou and Chen's current energy and connection? How is the bond between the Chinese actress Zhou and Chen's energy and connection? I'm just gonna get from here. How is the bond between Chinese actress Zhou and Chen's energy and connection? right, so when it comes to Zhao and Chen, I do feel like there is definitely like a certain nice spark that they both have when they interact. Like it almost like it's like this natural spark, this nice energy that they have when they interact. I feel like there is definitely a sense of positive energy when it comes to their bond. It's like they motivate each other, or they have like they both like have this sort of like energy that sort of makes people notice when they are around each other or when they're together. Okay. And I honestly do feel like that their connection definitely does have potential to grow into something great, and you know, maybe in certain projects or stuff like that. Like I do feel like that there is definitely potential for them to grow into something nice together, like working together, or you know, having meaningful opportunities or collaborating. Okay. So there's definitely like a sense of groundness between their bond, and I feel like there's like a sense of inspiration that they give each other, or like there to motivate the other in a nice way, which would give the other like a nice perspective of certain things. Okay. So it definitely feels like a mutual respect and admiration. Okay. And there's like a sense of happiness when they're together, like positive energy. And I feel like they also like do have like this sense of, you know, with the King of Swords and with the Knight of Wands, like one of them does like have this sense of clarity and directness with how they communicate or approach the other. And so it feels like a sharp energy between the two. Like one of them is pretty honest. Like if they feel something certain, or they have like something that they want to say, they're pretty sharp and honest, like even while like giving compliments or stuff like that. Okay. And I just heard that one of them does find the other cute in a way. Like one of them does feel like the other, in a sense, is cute. And when it comes to the two of them, like I feel like one of them, like I said, has like this Knight of Wands energy, creative, expressive, has warmth and is lively and bright. And while the other one is like more controlled, calm, composed, and observant. And they're quiet, but they notice a lot of detail about the other. So yeah, I do definitely feel like that their bond, you know, does have potential. And I feel like they are definitely looking forward, you know, to any sort of opportunities together as that. Like I feel like if there are certain opportunities for the two of them, career-wise as well, like I feel like there is something career-wise, like maybe there are certain projects for them that are offered, or one of them brought this certain idea, and I feel like that, you know, they would totally be open to that. Okay. So yeah, like when they're together, it definitely feels like that they have a lot of fun. And you know, when they're together, it's like uplifting and enjoyable. But definitely it feels like that the bond has some sort of potential. Like it feels like that it hasn't reached its, you know, highest potential yet. There is still like a new things that can happen. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now for the two of them. All right, Nara and Han Jaeha relationship, they just confirmed that they're dating. Okay, so let's take a look. How is Nara and Han Jaeha's relationship? Okay. Alright, you guys, so when it comes to their bond, I feel like that there's definitely like a sense of balance and lightness when it comes to the bond that they share together. Okay, it feels like that they both definitely have genuine care for the other person, and at the same time it feels like this bond has definitely built certain patience in the two of them. Like it feels like that they definitely had to go through being patient, and they had to learn how to grow together, and they had to make certain decisions of how they wanted certain things to be. Okay. And their bond like feels maturing and nurturing and mature. And I feel like, you know, since they probably mentioned that the relationship is public, I feel like there definitely has been, you know, indecisiveness behind the scenes regarding this. Because I do feel like that there is a lot of things that they both value when it comes to being private and all of that. Like I feel like there definitely has been a lot of things behind the scenes, and I feel like one of them specifically is just very, very private, and so definitely they had to navigate certain things behind the scenes, you know, when it comes to maybe the timing that they would want to mention regarding their relationship, and you know how they want to share certain things, the privacy of that, okay. And definitely they were thinking about other people's opinions as well, all right. And so I do feel like definitely at times they did go through certain bumps when it comes to their ball. Like it definitely was easy. Like it feels like I'm hearing that, okay, love wins at the end. Like I feel like definitely they had to jump through a lot of different bumps when it comes to their bond, and they finally like reach this point, so it feels good. They feel happy about it. But definitely, like, especially with them sharing, it feels like it's like this new beginning for them. And honestly, they definitely did have a lot of moments of overthinking and anxiety, okay? But nothing that really affected their bond, okay? I feel like honestly that they're pretty honest and clear when it comes to each other. I feel like one of them is, with the Queen of Cups, is gentle and soft and confident, but they also are very caring towards the other, and one of them feels like this playful, friendly, and approachable energy, and pretty dedicated to their work as well. So I feel like when it comes to their both's work, that is something that they both probably connected with as, and you know they were able to share certain things in common, okay. But yeah, so far their energy looks pretty great. I hope that made sense. Alright, next question is, Luke and Nick have finally interacted publicly after a long time. What's the energy about that move? Okay, let's see. What's Luke and Nicola's energy regarding? What's the energy of Luke and Nicola finally interacting publicly regarding their bond? Okay. Alright, so when it comes to that move, I definitely do feel like that for the longest time with the Queen of Swords, one of them definitely wanted to be careful when it comes to their bond, okay? One of them definitely was more hesitant because of this move, because here with the Devil, there is definitely like a sense of people's outside opinions when it comes to social media or certain things that were being said about Nicola and Luke's bond. Definitely one of them did want to avoid them interacting together and all of that. But I do feel like definitely this interaction feels like it's something that, you know, they felt like needed to be done this time around. And so definitely, you know, even though there was like a sense of hesitation from one of them specifically, it didn't stop them from doing this interaction, okay? And I feel like once they did that interaction, like it's almost like they just acted naturally. They were, you know, acting how they normally do, okay? And definitely there is like a sense of comfort when they're talking and they're sitting down together, okay? So even if like they were hoping to hold things back, or you know they were trying to be a bit aware because of things that happened, of things that were being said on social media or stuff like that, definitely I feel like they just both like talked about it. They were like, they just, you know, acted naturally about it, okay? On the other hand, I feel like there was one of them that did feel not really nervous about it. Like one of them was like, I think we should be a little bit careful about this. The other one was like, I'm super calm about this. I'm happy. I have nothing to worry about. Okay, so like one of them was like, had this like quiet excitement, and you know, they were honestly happy to be there, okay? And you know, whenever they reconnect, like just one of them just feels like it's so, you know, nice, okay? And so whenever they are around each other, like there's like this sense of like not even forcing anything. So again, when they were, you know, interacted publicly, they just like acted naturally. There might have been like a sense of restraint a little bit, but you know, like I said, that their bond isn't the same as it used to be at a certain point. So even though that they're definitely, you know, they're definitely friends and they definitely interact well together still, but like I said, there has been certain changes when it comes to their bond, okay? But they definitely interact well together still, and you know, there isn't anything bad between the two of them. But yeah, like I feel like one of them just become more careful and restricted, and right now there's definitely like this great sense of respect when it comes to the two of them, but at the same time control that, you know, I want to, you know, still be a bit careful about this, okay? And you know, a sense of like never wanting to overstep, okay? But yeah, this is what I'm seeing for Luke and Nicola. Let's see, Luke and Antonia's current energy. Let's take a look. How is Luke and Antonia's current energy right now? How is Luke and Antonia's current energy right now? How is Luke and Antonia's current energy right now? Alright, you guys, so when it comes to Luke and Antonia, it feels like both of them are in this certain reflective and cautious space right now, okay? There's like this sense of feeling conflicted or stuck in a sense, okay? I feel like one of them just wants stability when it comes to their bond. One of them does have like a sense of wish that they want to be fulfilled when it comes to their bond, and their bond being stable and their bond being long term. And I'm also feeling that there is also certain career ambitions and certain things that they want to happen for their career as an individual. And so I feel like one of them feels that they want certain things to happen when it comes to their bond, and they feel like sometimes that what they want is being overlooked by the other person. Like the other person doesn't really feel like they're on the same page of wanting to develop in that certain way. And so I feel like definitely there's like a sense of emotional heaviness at times when it comes to their bond, because I feel like one of them can sometimes be putting pressure like that. I want this to happen a certain way. Why do you not feel the same way? But the other person just approaches things differently. And to be honest, when it comes to the two of them, one of them just feels like the sense of hesitation, and being careful when it comes to certain options, or you know, they feel like that they need to be careful before making certain decisions, okay? And definitely there has been definitely a sense of give and take between the two of them. Like I feel like definitely there has been a sense of compromise. Like there's one of them that is compromising even for certain things that they do not feel comfortable doing, and there has been a sense of compromise. And I just heard this, you guys, there is also this sense of one of them feeling that this sort of relationship feels like a sense of void, that they feel at a certain point. Like I feel like one of them is just has a sense of fear of being lonely, and so this sort of relationship does sort of give like a sense of dependence, or like filling a certain void that is not filled by a certain someone. So if this relationship feels like a sense of like, okay, I have this like void filled, at least, you know, even if it's like partially filled or it's not like a certain way that I want it to be, it's at least like filled, okay? Like it feels that, you know, for one of them this relationship is more like about, you know, comfort and security than like fully being fully invested, okay? So yeah, I feel like that, you know, definitely there has been work that they have both put in their relationship, but I just feel like that they both look at this relationship in a sense in a different way and have certain expectations from it, which can definitely sometimes cause stress because, you know, I feel like one of them would have like a strong opinion about something and then the other person would have to compromise because they don't want to feel that certain void, okay? But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for Luke and Antonia right now. Now we have the next question which is the last question, Nicola and Jake's current energy, okay? How are things between Nicola and Jake right now? How are things between Nicola and Jake right now? Alright guys, so when it comes to Nicola and Jake's bond, there's like this sense of like one person specifically trying to keep things solid, mature and handled between the two of them. Like it's almost like one of them is carrying all the weight of this relationship on their shoulder. Like they feel like it's their responsibility to keep things together. Like it feels like one of them is like the one that is mature and handling things a certain way, okay? Because like there is this sense of like wanting a stable and responsible relationship, but underneath that there is definitely like this sense of someone that has been trying to hold up a certain wall for a while, because, you know, I feel like one of them just like wants, you know, stability in a relationship and, you know, wants a family and wants to grow things, okay? But because of that, they feel like a sense of responsibility of keeping this relationship and holding it up at certain times, okay? There's definitely, you know, attraction and a spark between the two of them, you know. It's not like things have died down, but I feel like things definitely at certain points are inconsistent between them, okay? Like there are some times where just like things feel passionate, and then sometimes things just feel like withdrawal and them just like being silent and just like avoiding, you know, facing each other in certain ways, okay? Like it just feels like one of them is giving more, and, you know, even though I feel like there is like a sense of them being for each other when, you know, they need each other, there's also like this sense of one of them sometimes feeling that they're unsupported. Like I feel like one of them can be like a bit sulky, like when things do not go their way, like there's a sense that, okay, I'm upset, I don't want to be around you right now, and so they just leave, and so that makes the other person sometimes feel unsupported, okay? Their connection isn't empty, and there is definitely comfort and great moments that they share together, but, you know, one of them wants to nurture and stabilize this relationship long term, but one of them just doesn't feel ready to fulfill that, or, you know, they don't feel mature enough for, you know, that, because like I said, one of them sometimes can act a bit immaturely at times, okay? So I do feel like they go with their up and downs, but yeah, that's like what I'm seeing right now for Nicola and Jake. Alright, you guys, that's the end of the Q&A. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you so much again for all the members that participate. I really appreciate every single one of you guys, and I love you guys all so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hopefully see you guys next time. Bye!